Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bears on Tap, a podcast about the Chicago Bears presented to you by On Tap Sportsnet. I'm your host, Brandon Suarez. You can follow me on Twitter at Bdon300. I got it back just about a week or two ago. Joined today by one of my many co-hosts, great co-hosts, Joey Knows Nothing. Bears dropped this one 25-20, kind of like what me and Joey were talking about before we started. I'm not as disappointed as I thought I would be after this game. They hung around really until the end of that A.J. Brown just roped that one off on Jalen Johnson, and then Jalen Johnson went down at the end. So they ended up losing the game by 5, but they showed incredible fight defensively. They looked great in the first half. Fields made them look silly on more than one occasion when he ran the football, and we said it before the game. We just didn't have the Jimmies and Joes to win a game like this, right?
Yeah, it's rough, man. First of all, apologies if anybody's listening to this. Like, this dude sounds like he just woke up and he hopped out of a dumpster. But I pretty much feel like I did because the last couple of days I've kind of felt like this.
Thank you for joining the show, Dumpster Dansby.
Yeah, I definitely feel like dumpster. Hey, if I'm getting compared to Dansby Swanson by any means, even if it's the dumpster version, I'll take it. But yeah, man, no, that was, I appreciate the Bears fight today. I really do. I kind of like beforehand, I guess, I was on the Bears spread. So I liked them coming into this game to keep it close because I feel like Fields just gives you the ability for the Bears to be able to stay in games, and he does. And, the Eagles I felt like they might be sleepwalking a little bit coming into this game because they have the Cowboys on deck next week and a big divisional game. And maybe not as big now because the Cowboys just got walked off. But
it was a good day of NFL football. It was every game was like a one possession game, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, and
2 overtime games.
A couple overtime games. We always get that little, we get that overtime game right before we hop on the show, and we're always usually catching the tail end.
I didn't bet it this week. I didn't have the overtime game this week. I finally lifted the curse. Yeah, usually I'm always I usually pick 3-4 games for each slot, and I always end up with one overtime game a week, and I just 4-0 sweep with the Argentina.
I feel like you're always mad about that game too.
With the Argentina plus 550 to win the World Cup for breakfast. So I am on an absolute rocket heater today. And Byron Pringle, who we should shout out, Quentin, called 2 great player of the game calls before the game. He had Kyler Gordon on defense. He had the interception, played really good, a lot of good run fits, and just an overall good game from both him and Brisker. And then obviously Jalen Johnson as well. But he also called Byron Pringle. Great touchdown late. And I mean, let's talk about that play specifically. So Fields, I thought it was, an all-out run. I thought he was going to take off. His vision really has gotten a lot better throughout the season to where I know he has the happy feet, but when he has the happy feet, he's still looking and surveying down the field to see if he can find someone. And old Fields is going to try and make it jiggle and get, that 35 yards. The Fields that is growing up and maturing in front of our eyes found a wide open Byron Pringle for an easy touchdown to get us within a possession. Obviously, we needed to stop and didn't get it, though.
Survey says, yeah, he's starting to survey the field, man.
Touchdown. It was a beautiful throw, too.
I like it. I mean, he was wide open, but it's like the bait and switch, too, the bait and flip, right? Like he's kind of baiting those defenders. We saw it a little bit early in the season, but he wasn't really doing it the way that he did on that particular play and doing it as much as he's been doing it lately, where he uses his legs as a weapon, an added weapon in the passing game. And, he kind of just buys himself a little bit of time, keeps looking, and makes those tough throws. And he's made some, too, that have been, in the middle of the field area that's, some really tough plays where it's he's throwing across his body after he kind of buys himself some more time. But, I mean, yeah, that's the next part of the development, right? From Fields. And he has the arm to be able to do that. He has the strength. Sometimes it still drives me nuts with the accuracy. It's I don't know if it's the footwork. I think,
this dude can't hit a swing pass to save his life.
There's that. And it's dude.
No wonder why Matt Nagy fucking hated him. He couldn't hit the bubble screens and bullshit.
He couldn't hit the bullshit. Couldn't hit the curl routes. I mean, honestly, dude, if he starts to get the short game down, if he starts to get with really a regularity with consistency the short game, he's something special, dude. Like we know he can hit those deep bombs. I mean, like, when you have Velus Jones going down there, who's electric, but like, dude, I'd be perfectly fine if I would never see him touch the football on offense ever again. I don't. He can't be trusted. He just can't be trusted. Was that the first time he touched the ball all game? He fumbles it. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm skipping beats here. We didn't even get we're still talking Justin Fields, but he broke the record today, man. Like Justin Fields broke Bobby Douglas's record set 50 years ago for a franchise record for a quarterback, most rushing yards by a quarterback in a Bears season, or by a Bears quarterback in a season.
And he got to the 1,000-yard mark right to it.
Got right to 1,000-yard mark. Yeah, he's 206 away from Lamar Jackson. Only 3 quarterbacks in history have gotten to the 1,000-yard mark. Twice by Lamar Jackson, once by Mike Vick, who was just electric. Like, if you would have told me, dude, in 2006 or 2007 that the Bears would one day have a quarterback that ran as well, if not better
than Michael Vick,
than Mike Vick, I would have lost my mind just thinking about that. And we still can't win games, which hopefully it's coming next year, obviously. But yeah, man, wild stuff.
Yeah, and I honestly think that we've said it many times on the show, more towards the latter half of the season, once the in the hunt graphic was no longer even a possibility. It's just like these results don't really hurt as much. A lot of the guys that were playing on offense today, like our better receivers today, were like Byron Pringle, Masimba Webster. Cole Kmet had kind of a stinker. Not a great game from him by my standards. Monty played well. And then all the injuries, man. Tevin Jenkins gets carted off on a stretcher.
That was rough.
EQ goes down. Justin Fields goes down, comes back out. Jalen Johnson goes down. And it's just like, at this point in the season, we've been saying it for the last few weeks, like, just business decisions, right? These games don't mean anything for anyone except for those bottom of the roster guys. And with all due respect, you're going to have to physically extract those guys off the field because they're fighting for their contracts. The guys like Jalen Johnson, the guys like Justin Fields, the Moonies and the Jacksons that are already down, we don't need to see anything from them at this point in the season. And it's just like when I saw him walk into the tunnel, I tweeted, I said, that should be the last time or the last snap that we see him take all season. Would have been a perfect bookend, finish at 1,000 yards on the ground. It was never going to be like a MVP or a comeback player or any of that stuff type year, but he did put the league on notice. Everyone knows what type of player Justin Fields is and how he's going about his business right now with a team that is not built, quite frankly, for anyone to win with that quarterback,
No. I mean, you saw it today, man. Like, you got guys that can't hang on. I mean, even Simba Webster on the one play, like, he fumbles, it goes out of bounds, and he's trying to signal for a first down, like, oh, please give me a break. Like,
he caught the damn ball, bro. Probably his first catch of the year.
I mean, it probably was. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't remember hearing his name the rest of the season leading up to this. But, like, dude, the offensive line, like, Leatherwood was getting his shit rocked. He was getting his ass kicked all day before he got pulled or whatever happened with him. Then Whitehair too, before, like, Cody Whitehair was the offensive line is just like, you give up 6 sacks in a game. I mean, you can pretty much point to almost anyone you want and just be like, yeah, this is a dumpster fire. Like, and somehow Justin Fields runs for 100 yards.
I think he had like 130. I'm trying to pull up the box score right now. I'm just terrible with technology. And I also have terrible Wi-Fi. But okay. So he had 95 yards, 152 through the air, 2 touchdowns, and all things considered, I think he looked the better of the 2 quarterbacks today. But obviously, you're always going to get a little beat-down bias. But
I think he did too. I mean, dude, look, like, Hurts made some good. He made a couple of, like, really big throws that there was a couple to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. He had one. Like, a couple of those were Jalen Johnson. I mean, Jalen Johnson had a really good game, I thought. Pretty much all throughout the game against A.J. Brown. Really played outstanding coverage. And then there were a couple throws that Jalen Hurts made that were like, all right, that's really impressive because Jalen Johnson had good coverage.
That's the guy they're talking about that might be in the MVP race,
Yeah, that guy that, he didn't look like an MVP for like 3/4 of the game, but,
If there's one thing, though, I've always said this about Jalen Hurts is that, you watch a lot of college football. You remember what happened to him at Bama, getting pulled during the national title game.
Yeah.
He stayed there for a whole another year and gets thrust right back into the SEC championship game, rips meat out, does his thing. Obviously, he transferred to Oklahoma after that. But, just a guy that's really has been doubted since he got benched and has just continued to get better. And I think Fields is in that same conversation right now with, Lamar, with Jalen, with those top running quarterbacks, with the top. I mean, he's playing top 10 quarterback overall, for the season right now. He doesn't have the players around him to win football games. It's just simply not conducive to winning, strolling out on Sunday with EQ as number one. You got Nisimba Webster out there. You got, what I'm saying? Like Treston Ebner, we're trying to throw swing passes to Treston Ebner, and it's like he can't get close enough to the ball to even get a hand on it. So there's a lot of shit going on just with the team that we have on our hands. But I think that it's encouraging for us as Bears fans to really just see the growth week in and week out. And it's like that one run that he got where he ran out of bounds at the 9. No business, zero business getting out of the pocket, bro. Like he literally.
Oh, that was nuts.
I think he had Hassan Reddick on his back and did a wrestling throw him off me. That someone's gonna clip that, and I'm just I look like I'm on a roller coaster. But dude, he took off and he started spinning and juking and moving, and I don't know, man. At a certain point, I would like to see him not running the football so much. But again, it's if he keeps running the football like this, you have to keep it as part of his arsenal as long as his body can physically handle it.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge part of his game right now, and a lot of this stuff too. That's not scripted. That play right there, he was supposed to be taken down for a sack because again, receiver's not getting open, the line playing like shit. And what does he do?
7 times today, I think.
Still got sacked. I think it was 6 or 7 times, yeah. And that play in particular, like you said, threw the guy off and makes people miss, almost didn't step out of bounds, makes a spin move, scores a touchdown. I'm still calling it a touchdown in my head because it was just such an incredible play, man. I don't think that part of his game is going to be going, even if let's say you tone back the design runs, right? I'd probably like to see him tone back the design runs even a little bit more, but it's hard not to use it right now when you're not going to get pass protection. When you're not going to get the pass protection, I kind of understand a little bit why Getsy's doing it, especially when you're coming off of basically 2 weeks rest with the bye week. You probably feel like Fields is feeling good because, he had an illness, which I feel like we're all dealing with right now. People that are sitting on their couch are dealing with illness.
I'm a little under the weather today.
But, it's okay, if he's feeling healthy enough, just from a physical standpoint, it's okay, go ahead, let him run. I want to – the worst possible scenario, though, with this Bears finish to the season, not even just today's game, is injuries. The Tevin Jenkins thing, obviously super scary moment, man. Super scary, all the teams on the field and, in the prayer circle, carted off.
He's not going to be ready for week 1 by next year.
I mean, I don't even know. You don't know what's happening with that. It's like a neck injury or something, I think, reported. And
he's having a great year. As much as
best offensive lineman on the team, and it's not close.
As much as I had my Tevin Jenkins shtick.
You can't even say that today without feeling bad today.
I was well, today's the day that my Tevin Jenkins shtick dies, unfortunately. But all in all, a great season. I know Quentin's probably going to be really bummed about it. And I know Quentin, the reason why he's not with us today is he's on a flight, so he wasn't even able to watch the game live. He's got to go back and just re-witness us just $1 late and a couple.
Imagine rewatching that. Like he's gonna I'll watch that on replay, and then not have anyone to talk to in the moment about it. Like,
yeah, well,
they probably see what already happened.
Quinn was in the trenches with this morning with me for Argentina, so that was. There was no way that I was getting up for any form of an NFL game as hard as that game just brought me up and took me down and brought me up and took me down. But like I said, man.
It was bricked up at 9 a.m. What time did that game start?
9 a.m. Yeah, bricked up, bricked down, and then just rolled literally like right into the Bears game. And you know what? One thing that I've really seen, and we talked about it a few weeks ago on the show, but because we compared it to the Cubs' first inning runs, but the Bears always at the very least cross the 50 on that first drive. Yeah. Sometimes we get the turnover on downs or Cairo Santos missed a field goal or whatever, but the Bears this year, and one thing we've talked about for many years on the show is their lack of ability to start games out quick. They get settled into a game relatively quickly. And again, great defensive line. Quinn was hammering that home all last show, how good the defensive line was with the Eagles. I didn't see too much Slay today. I didn't see too much from their secondary. And I just think that, if, like I said before the show, you want to be able to find 30 points. You find 30 points, you win this game.
Yeah. And you know what? It's hard not to be like impressed still with how many points the Bears were able to put up with that shitty of a line and that shitty of a receiving core and like because of how good we know the defense is on the other side with the Eagles, right? Like that's a top 10 defense by pretty much any category you look at. They can be susceptible to the run, but pretty much everywhere else, like they're pretty damn stout because of the pressure they get, because of, even the secondary. Like you said, you didn't see
Reddick was playing out of his fucking mind today.
Oh, dude, he was all over. He was all over. I mean, Fields basically had to just sidestep him for anything that he was able to get done today. So, yeah, man. If you can put up 30 points, though, you do win this game. And I guess that is the frustrating part about it because it's like, we just needed a little bit more. But to your point, man, like the Bears have come out pretty much every game. And to me, I'm starting to think that's a Luke Getsy thing, right? Or early in the game. It's like the choreographed.
Don't you put that on him, man. He still sucks. He is the leader of the Tank Donson cult.
Hey, listen, I know he
hold on.
He starts to fuck up as the game goes.
Tank Donson. That is the leader of the Tank Donson cult, Luke Getsy.
Tank Johnson, Tank Donson, same thing.
It's the players out on the field that are making the plays that are not NFL, that are just NPCs. There's not NFL players.
I mean, whatever you want to give it to, I think like they want the ball early though. You could tell. Yeah. Maybe that's a Fields thing too. Like Fields wants the ball in his hand right off the bat.
If I can't be a jag off about Jenkins, I'm up in the ante on Luke Getsy, okay?
So you got to find somebody.
Because everyone we know always gives me so much shit about Komet or EQ or anyone that went to Notre Dame that plays for the Bears, Sam Mustipher mostly. Actually, I don't know why I didn't lead with Sam Mustipher. But
I mean, I'm like the first one to give him shit, and I like Notre Dame, so.
Yeah. But I think.
EQ actually played pretty well before he got hurt, too. So.
He got fucking waxed.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Also, too, another thing. We've talked about this for going on 2 seasons. When is Justin Fields going to start getting the calls?
I don't know. But
getting kind of annoying, man.
It kind of felt like Hurts. There was a player, too, that he should have got called on him, too, and he didn't get the call. So I don't want to say that, like, we know Justin Fields doesn't get all those calls all the time. Most of the time he doesn't get the calls. But, like, Jalen Hurts is another running quarterback who I'm starting to think, like, I don't know, maybe I don't watch close enough all the Eagles games, and maybe it's different treatment now that he's kind of in the MVP discussion, but I'm starting to think that it's just a running quarterback thing like it's been, for the years, like with Cam Newton and all those guys that can run. They just don't get those calls more often than not, and It sucks. Like, I hate seeing that because it's bullshit. They're quarterbacks. They're not necessarily running backs. If they're giving themselves up, call it. Like, you need to call it.
At the end of the day, it's got to be about player safety. And
yeah,
there's arguably no position in all of sports that's more important than a quarterback. So,
dude, imagine if you have Nathan fucking Peterman. Nothing against the guy.
He came out there and rifled that ball, though. I thought, I was like, if he's got to finish this drive, if they can get a completion here, dude, and Peterman comes out and takes the lead on the Eagles, you know how funny that would be? That'd just be so NFL this year. Just like the Bengals about to get absolutely waxed by the Bucs.
That'd just be Mike White and like Sam Darnold and like whoever you want to throw in there. Just come out and start rifling it.
That was another good game. Notre Dame legend Brock Wright called the game. Cole Kmet's backup had a better game than him today, so that's kind of where. If Cole Kmet had Brock Wright's game, we win this game. But,
dude, did you see Cole Kmet? Not to like throw more Notre Dame shade here. Did you see his ass get like chased down when he had a wide open? He could have ran for like 25 yards. And he got chased down by somebody.
Got chased down by a lineman. Yeah.
Yeah, completely slower than him. I don't know who it was, but I was like, dude, that's just awful.
I mean, a wise man once said, "Good teams win, great teams cover."
We covered.
I don't know the last time we even covered, so we're counting that as our fourth win of the season, effective as of this moment on the show.
Moral victories.
Go ahead and change it on your board at home or whatever you got for the Bears win-loss column if you're still old school. But I think that
we're hitting our win total. That's what we're saying.
I mean, I want to see him win one more game, but I just don't think it's going to happen. You got Buffalo next week.
Do you actually want them to though now? Because now, okay, we were kind of.
All right, I'm gonna up the ante. I only want to see them win a game if it was the situation that it was today, where it is, in order for us to win the game, Justin Fields has to put a couple extra hairs on his chest. He has to do a little bit of growing up. Not like how we beat the Patriots, where we just absolutely shit pump someone, because we could probably beat the Vikings, bro. The Vikings have looked so bad lately. They came back from down 33 yesterday to finally win the division. But like the Bears, like you said earlier, they're always competitive. It's not like we've really been getting, our shit pumped this year. I'd probably say there's a couple games in there that, aren't really that great, like the first Packers game. But I think that, you're going to lose to the Bills. That's just a given. It's a good measuring stick game to see where Justin Fields matches up against Josh Allen in terms of quarterback play. But again, how skewed is it, the grading system, because Justin Fields has Diggs and McKenzie and Davis, Knox, and fucking three running backs and an actual competent line. So, and is that game in Buffalo, or are we at home for that one?
Thought it was in Buffalo. I'll double check on that though. But
then you play Detroit and you play Minnesota. So, I mean, maybe they'll win, maybe they won't. It doesn't really matter. It'll matter if they get to like week 8.
In Chicago next week.
In Chicago, okay. I don't think they're two cold weather teams. But one thing I am kind of worried about, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but the Bills haven't blown anyone out in a while.
They're not really that team this year. Like,
you're not that guy, pal.
They're not. They are those guys, but they're not those guys. Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. You don't really know which Bills team you're going to get. The one that like wants to slaughter you, or the one that's going to let you like hang around. I kind of feel like this is a situation where maybe the Bills will come out to play next week, but like the Eagles, for example, this week, like I just really thought that this is an opportunity where they might come in sleepwalking. Maybe the Bills look at the record and say, hey, we're going to go in there. We're just going to put them down like nice and easy. We know Justin Fields is a good quarterback. They got no other help. We're just going to go in there and nice little cakewalk to the finish line. And, hey, you might have another thing coming if you're going to come in here and try to do that when you have somebody as electric as Justin Fields. And that's kind of like I know that's kind of been like the theme of the entire season. We always say that pretty much every week. Like, if he's out there, something special can happen, but we see it every week. Yeah, something special does happen. And so
it's always true because, he always just does something that you're like, we've never seen another Chicago Bears quarterback do this.
It gives you hope, man. It gives you – and like kind of back to what you were saying, I don't really care if they win another game. Like, I don't really want them to at this point. Like, I really do want that second pick. And I know it's terrible to say that because, we watched the game like today. I want them to win the game as they kind of started drawing closer. And just like when he came back into the game too, it's like, okay, maybe
they're trying to win the game.
Something crazy. Yeah, maybe they can pull something crazy. And the Fields has that moment, right? Like, that would feel so good. That would be – have all these other teams win. You could keep the second pick, right? All these teams that we need to win to kind of ensure the Bears' safety at the second overall pick of the next year's draft. Have them go ahead and win. We can root for them. And I want Justin Fields to have that one moment where it's like a come from behind win. And more so just for him and to shut up the people that keep saying, well, he can't win, he can't win. The guy's a freaking winner, man. I don't think it's not a him thing. Like, we've seen time and time again. It's like somebody will let him down, and he's made some mistakes too. But like, most of it, yeah. You got freaking Nsimba Webster out there. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're lifting up a lion to see Wayne, yeah, like try to pull miracles out. Like, it's just
Nsimba.
So I mean,
hey, he played his ass off today, though. I'll say.
No, he was
for a guy that hadn't really done much.
I'm just giving him shit. Yeah, I mean, there was some good defensive stuff, man. You hold that team to, what was it, 25 points? The Bears played some pretty good defense today too, and we didn't even touch on that side of the ball that much. And so give credit to the defense too.
Oh, another one that went down too is Sanborn.
Oh yeah, Sanborn too. Yeah, was it an ankle or something with him?
I didn't see exactly what it was, but he didn't return to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
too many injuries. Yeah, Jalen. I think you mentioned Jalen Johnson too getting hurt at the end.
Your guy, the backup Jalen. Talk about your best friend in the secondary, backup Jalen.
I don't know about him.
He had a couple good plays in the first.
I mean, yeah, but like,
he's just not good.
He's just not that guy, pal. Like, he's not gonna be around here. And so Scott says here in the comments, Jalen Johnson told Mark Grody that he isn't sure if he will play against the Buffalo Bills, fighting right now through his rib injury. Okay, so
don't even bother.
Yeah, sit down. You don't need to show anything.
We're gonna lose with or without you, and it doesn't matter.
I thought Kyler Gordon had a pretty good game too. All over the ball, man. All over the ball.
No, he did play well. All right, so go through players of the game real quick, and then we'll ride out, because I think that there was a lot that was left to be desired, but at the end of the day, like, they still didn't play a terrible game. They still had an opportunity in the last 6 minutes of the game to find a way to win this one. Going into the fourth quarter, or honestly until the Eagles got to 25, it was a one-possession game either way the whole game. And it wasn't even like a full touchdown. It was like 4 points, 3 points either side. So it was really just a close game, like we've seen so many times over the years with the Bears. Close game all game, and then they find a way to just get killed at the end.
They're excellent losers.
Yeah, no, they always find ways to lose games.
New creative ways every week. That's what they are. I even wrote that in the article I did this week. So they are excellent losers. They find creative ways to lose games every week. And look, as fun as that might seem to some people, it's not as fun when you're actually a fan of the fucking team.
Yeah, no, like
it's not that fun.
It's different, man, because we never really have seen anything like this in our lifetimes where we're like purposely this bad. Like, someone was trying to talk shit to me the other day, and I'm like, well, the thing you don't understand is, like, we're not trying to win. Like, we have an awful team with a new head coach and a GM that probably just woke up. Like, so what do you want from us? Justin Fields is him. I'm going to tweet it every week until it's no longer true. And if you just get some weapons around him, right, like, we should be good. The only problem is the defense has regressed so far that I don't know, no matter who we bring in next year, I don't think it's going to be a top-end unit, you know? Offense could be, so either. But then we're going to be needing to score a lot of points just to win games like we have to this year.
And unfortunately, that GM's probably going to be sleeping until draft time at this point. So He's got no other reason to be awake right now. But at this point, dude, I'm kind of with you. Like I think they can buy enough talent on the free agent market to at least be average on defense. Like kind of like we've talked about with Quentin and me, you and Quentin have talked before on these shows. Like they can at least be adequate defensively, and hopefully you're going to rely on Eberflus to kind of coach these guys up in the offseason and make that defense better with what the core is with the secondary. Because I think the secondary, when healthy, obviously we don't know Eddie Jackson. Like, hopefully he'll be okay.
Playing out of his mind until he got hurt this year.
He was excellent, man. Yeah. And Kyler Gordon looks like he's kind of taking the next step, starting to. I mean, he's just came back off of the concussion, and then
him off to start the game. That was their first drive, or second drive.
Was it Kyler was out? Right, Kyler was out.
Kyler and Brisker both were.
And Brisker, yeah, Ben Brisker too. Okay, yeah, he got that interception, and like
I just saw a tweet that said Justin Fields is throwing the ball to December Webster. Just current state of the Bears.
It's just awful, absolutely awful. I mean, I think they could be decent next year if they get some guys on defense, pay for some guys, and you're gonna have to try to get that like Jalen Carter or something. At this rate, he's getting talked up so much, though, man. Like, if you want him, you might actually need to stay in like a top 3 area, because are the Lions drafting a quarterback? Excuse me.
No.
Holy crap! I could not hold that.
Dansby, what was the trash can, Dansby? Oh shit, he's on mute. All right, well, I'll go first then for players of the game. But defensively, I'm rolling with what Q went with. I'm going to take Kyler Gordon. Played well today, coming back from an injury against arguably the best offense in the NFL, right? Like, I don't know what the numbers support, but they have just been playing out of their mind this season. And on the offensive side of the ball, I'll go Fields. I mean, I know it's a layup usually week in and week out, but over 100 yards, he eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark for the season, passed Bobby Douglas's record, kept us in the game against one of the best teams in the NFL, and did it a lot by himself. So, got to tip your hat to him. Justin Fields, my fucking quarterback. I wake up and thank God every single day that man is our quarterback. So,
yeah, I'm gonna go with.
I thought you were about to die on me again.
Oh, I feel like I am. But
we'll roll out after players of the game.
I'm gonna try to get this off real fast. There's too much talk. I haven't done this much talk in like 4 days.
And my special teams player of the game is Joey Ricotta, because he's a little special and he's a little sick right now. But thanks for hanging in there, bud.
More special than sick, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But anyways, I'll go back in my dumpster here soon. I guess player of the game for me offensively. I mean, I don't know how you pick anyone other than Fields, but who even can I really can't even think of another one. Like Nsimba, like, are you gonna give it to Nsimba? Asiwanya? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Montgomery had a pretty good game too in the receiving game as well. So
why don't you give it to Valence Jones, man?
Yeah, absolutely fucking not. I would rather start talking all over this microphone again.
Monty was 4.4 yards a pop, touchdown, 53 total or yards on the ground, and then 38 in the air and a tutty.
Mm-hmm. They got me over the receiving yards, I bet him at. So I'll take Monty for the offensive side. Who you got on defense?
I took Kyler.
Oh, you took Kyler? Damn it. You stole mine.
I mean, you can take him too. It's not all-inclusive. Doesn't take him off the board. Dude, Morrow had 11 tackles, though, today. And that's a guy that we've just regularly been like, he's just not good at football.
Yeah, I'm dying over here.
I see that.
Yeah, Morrow, I don't even know how he had a good game today, to be honest with you. We regularly can't stand his play, so.
He brought the boom a lot, too. Like, he was cracking skulls out there.
Pennell had a pretty good game, too.
Yeah. Pennell had a couple tips.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game. I guess I'll give it to Jalen Johnson, man. That's a tough task going up against A.J. Brown. I know he gave up a ton of.
I like how you gave it to Jalen, yeah. But dude, on a lot of times,
on him either.
A lot of times he was just clamping his ass up on like 3rd and 4th downs, on the money downs, on the most important plays. So I don't know, but Scott came in the comments and said, "Player of the game is Dansby Swanson. His positive vibes inspired the Bears for 3 quarters."
Mallory Pugh was in attendance, I think.
Oh, there we go. It is a very bad time to be a Chicago sports fan, so we have to find the light on gloomy days like this, and the light is those guys that we mentioned. There's a couple more out there. Find a way to stay competitive with a ragtag group of guys, and I don't think we're going to have too many issues when we get the right guys in place. But we'll be back with you guys middle of the week to preview the game against the Buffalo Bills this upcoming weekend. You take on the best team in the NFC by record, and you follow it up with the best team in the AFC by record. So to be the best, you got to beat the best. I don't anticipate any scenario that we end up winning this game, but the NFL has seen crazier things, and we'll be there this week, Wednesday night, to preview it all for you guys. But before you take off, make sure you throw Joey a follow at Joey Knows Nothing. Make sure you throw me a follow at Bdon300, and then also our main account at Bears on Tap. Tank Donson is out. Bears lose this one 25-20. We'll be back to you guys in the middle of the week, and they're down.
Find a way to sign some free agents.
Sign Clint Ratkovich. He is better than Treston Edner.
Agreed. Let's go.